Jeffrey Freeburn. Trials and Tribulations of an LHLFREF. Trials and Tribulations of an LHLFREF. Jeffrey Freeburn.
Ornamented Contest Master, honored and welcome guests and fellow Toastmasters. A few years ago, I divulged to the area Toastmasters that I suffer from a rare condition, LHLFREF. I'm a left-handed, left-footed, right-eyed freak. I shared back then how accident-prone I am. In my first decade of life, I went to the emergency room 5 times to get stitches from here up. My doctor coined the phrase, getting a checkup from the neck up, because of me. That works on many levels. I grew up in a small town in the Adirondack Mountain region of upstate New York. I was the only left-handed freak in my immediate and extended family, the only one in my grade school classes. There are others in the school and some more in the town. I learned, as I grew older, that many of us remain closeted. Mainly because we get stuck in there. Can't work those right-handed handles. Let me out of the closet. Many levels. Also, in this idyllic town, it was the expectation that all children and adolescents participate in seasonal sports. That sounds nice and wholesome to the righties of the world, but it can be downright torturous if you're a left-handed, left-footed, right-eyed freak. My parents were not great athletes. They had other talents. But my older brother got the lone all-star athlete gene in our immediate and extended family. He is the yin to my yang. Some area Toastmasters may recall that from my previous therapy speeches, I affectionately refer to my brother as the tormentor. He thrived and got thrills out of tormenting me. He knew that there was something wrong with me. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, so he put his fist on it, because he knew I was a freak. Along with his all-star athlete gene came innate popularity among the townsfolk. And he knew, or feared rightly so, that having a freak for a little brother could damage his innate reputation. So he begrudgingly accepted the tasks of teaching me these seasonal sports. I think to mitigate his losses, I'm sure. We'll start with America's pastime. Although it pains me to say it, it's not just the tormentor's fault. But in general, right-handed people cannot teach left-handed people how to do physical tasks. It's always the same thing. Okay, hold your glove up here. Bring your other hand. What's wrong with you? I'm left-handed. Okay. Okay, now put your glove up here. Just do what I do, but backwards. Story of a yang's life. We started with catching. I stood on one side of the backyard, the tormentor stood on the other side, and he proceeded to throw the ball at me, at my face. The tormentor's only training technique was hardball. He felt the need to toughen me up quickly. It didn't quite work. Here I am. For a while there, I caught more balls with this mitt than the one in my hand. I spent a good portion of my childhood black and blue with bumps and bruises. If that happened today, the neighbors would be calling the child abuse hotline. Back then, neighbors were like, "Oh, look, Freebirds are teaching Jeffrey how to catch. Bless their heart." Throwing was a little bit better for me, but this is where I first learned that there was a disconnect between my freak eye and my freak hand. I had great aim, but somehow my freak hand kept letting go of the ball up here, would go sailing over the tormentor's head, or smashing through the neighbor's window. "Oh, look, Freebirds are teaching Jeffrey how to throw. Go back to catching, Jeffrey, you little freak." Bless his heart. And then I saw the tormentor shaking his head side to side, and a slight crimson hue came across his face. I would soon find out that that would leave a mark on me. Don't embarrass the tormentor. Batting. I was good at batting. Well, I was least bad at batting. Little league pitchers notoriously have difficult time pitching to lefties. So I would get walked a lot. I'd call the coach and others yelling, "Good eye, good eye!" I heard, "Good freak eye, good freak eye!" I thought, yeah, that is a good freak eye. I did lead the league for a while in reaching base due to being hit by the pitch. A little tormentor training there. I would walk home covered in welts and ball-shaped scuff marks. The neighbors would be like, "Oh, look, Jeffrey must have gotten on base." Looks like I owe the pitcher $10. Bless his heart. I could hit the ball once in a while, however, not out of the park. Therefore, I had to run. Not very pretty. In my mind, it's somewhat reminiscent of the Bionic Man after having a stroke. I led the league for a while and also sliding head first into first. And until I learned to compensate for my freak eye, I'd be about 6 to 12 inches short. Unfortunately, there's not enough time in the day to cover all the trials and tribulations of the seasonal sports. And as long as I'm alive, the trials and tribulations continue. So consider yourselves forewarned. And I recommend at the end of today's meeting, you give me a 5-minute head start to leave the building and the parking lot. Being the freak that I am, I had to get a car with a stick shift. And I have occasional flashbacks where I think that everybody else on the road is the tormentor. Talk about road rage! Have a contest, master!